daily YouTube, Instagram and TikTok lives. I discuss how to create income you own with the paid community. Instead of income you rent from social media platforms through brand deals, pay-per-views, and ad revenue. My live streams are for creators and subject matter experts 40 and over who aren't able to monetize their YouTube or other channels the way they want. My style is straight talk, no hype, and tech simple. My live streams are for creators and subject matter experts 40 and over who are able to monetize their YouTube or channels the way they want. Ideas stars are creators.
Hey, what's going on? All right, so we got to get this in, right? No matter what's going on in life, we got to get these things in. So I'm just going to go through real quickly what I believe to be a really telling email that I received from Alex Hormozi. Now, I'm not the only one who received it. Obviously, everybody on his email list gets this. But what I love about what Alex does a lot of the time is he loves to share with people the decisions he makes and how he makes them. And to me, that is really inspiring. And if you don't know who Alex is, we're going to go ahead and drop his face right there. And we're also going to let you see him over my right shoulder there. Well, my right shoulder. You're seeing it on the left. But this is Alex. Alex Hormozi has a YouTube channel with 4.3 million subscribers. Alex has about the same on Instagram, and I believe he's even got 1 million on TikTok. He has tons of connections on LinkedIn, and he's just a brilliant businessman. So if you don't know who Alex is, you should really look him up. And I am going to let's see, where is it here? Where did Alex go? There he is. I am going to share with you his YouTube channel so you can check out who he is and just how incredible his advice is. So let's go over to Hormozi. So this is Alex's channel, 4.35 million subscribers on YouTube, and he posts business content. Now, unlike most people, when he posts business content, it's from the standpoint of somebody who's actually built businesses. So he's not a guy that just posts hype. He posts real results. And I don't know about you, but real results, that's what I want to hear, right? I want to hear that. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the real results. So let's take a look at what he posted. And this is the email that we received. Now, this isn't the actual email, but he talked about his 6 highest return on investment decisions. And Alex is very, very keen on not just doing something, but doing something that is going to have a really high return on the investment. So the first thing, and this is the number one, this is the decision that created the highest leverage for his business over the last 5 years. And that is making content. And for those of you who are scared to make content, nothing, I repeat, nothing will move your business forward and give you more long-term bang for your buck than content. Now, when we talk about content, the thing that you need to know is content is the only asset that keeps selling after you stop working. It is a never-ending asset because unlike other social media platforms, you can have a piece of content that is a year old, 2 years old, 4 years old, 10 years old, and it can still possibly bring you new eyeballs and business. So every decision below that decision got cheaper because people already knew who he was. He'd already built a reputation. And before he did it, he already had success, right? He had already been invested in a company that he would later sell for $46.2 million, I believe. That was his exit. And that was Gym Launch, his first major company. But making content was the number one thing that he decided to do. And you're being bombarded with this message everywhere you look, right? Gary Vee's talking about it. Alex is talking about it. Everyone is saying the best decision you can make is content. And with a flood of AI out there, and I do have a video that you can watch at the end of this about how you beat AI content. Be real. Just make real content. And one of the ways that Alex is leaning into real content is he's going live on YouTube once or twice a week, I believe, and he is answering questions live. Because when you create live content, you are much more trustworthy than somebody who just reads off a script. So that was number one, was making content, because everybody knows who he is. Now people seek him out. And when he created content, it made the sale of his books go that much faster. So that was number one, making content. Number two, he became the largest investor in school. Now, this is really interesting to me because Alex announced his decision in January, I believe, of 2024, that he was going to invest in school. Now, what was interesting about his decision to invest in school was that he had been investing companies for 3 or 4 years before school. But he was making such a big bet with school that he decided he was going to actually publicly acknowledge that he was investing in school. In other words, every other company that he'd ever invested in, he never told you the name of the company. But he made a multi-$100 million bet on school. In fact, there are reports, and I can't confirm this, but there are reports that he invested $200 million into school because he wanted to help it grow faster than it was growing. And as a result of his involvement with school, at the time that I got started, they had about 1 million users and they had about 13,000 people who actually had groups. As of today, and we can actually go in and we can look at that. As of today, right now, if you go into the schoolers community, there's 162,900 school owners. And there's actually more schools than that because many people have more than one school. But there's 162.9 thousand school owners. And now the platform boasts approximately 27 million users. So becoming the largest investor in school was about recurring income, because everything, although you can do one-offs and you can do high-ticket one-time payments, the real magic of school is in creating predictable recurring income. And the message here was renting attention pays once, owning the place attention lives pays every single month, whether or not you show up on social. So you have a community, right? And those people are paying to be there because they want access to you and they want access to your knowledge and other people's knowledge in the group. And they pay for the privilege of association with you in your community. And they pay every single month. So let's say you have 400 people that are paying you $10 a month. That's $4,000 a month. Well, you make that $4,000 every month, regardless of whether you put one more piece of content on social media or out on YouTube. You make that money regardless. So that was a big one, because here's what Alex firmly believes. He believes this platform is poised to be a 4 to 6 billion with a B dollar revenue generator in the next 24 months. They're gaining about 1 million users every 2 weeks. And now they're getting into the advertising business, because they're not so much trying to attract new users to school. They want to, or I'm sorry, they don't want to attract more people to create groups. They actually want to create users and attract users that will come in and join people's school groups. That's why you are seeing all this growth right here. And that's why you're seeing some of these communities that are just absolutely and totally killing it, because of the growth inside of the school platform. So that was his second biggest ROI decision that he has made. Whoops. So the third was bringing in a new president and CEO that is not necessarily going to become the face, but it's going to allow Alex and Layla, as they get ready to welcome their first child, it's going to allow them to step back. Because the highest leverage hire replaces you at the job that you're merely good at. And the trade buys back hours. So the rest of the business just runs whether you were there or not. And Alex will always have a hand in it. I know he will. He will always make content, but this just allows him the flexibility to step back from the day to day, because Alex runs a portfolio of companies that do $250 million a year. And then he said the fourth biggest decision he made was to write the $100 million series. Now, let me show you what the $100 million series is by going to Amazon. And then we will go to books. And then we will go to these books. These 3 books. $100 million Offers was his first book. That was my introduction to him. $100 million Leads is his second book. And $100 million Money Models is his third book. And the sale of this book right here is responsible for a 3.5x growth in school over the last 8 months or so. And this is the book right here. And by the way, I do have it sitting on my table right here. See, that's Money Models. And So what he did is he shared what he thought was a great business model, especially for beginners, was school. So when he shared that, enrollment in school absolutely exploded. But by releasing these 3 books, and it takes him about 2 years every time he writes one. And so you're looking at somebody who has spent 6 years of his life writing these books. And as a result, every single one of these is a Amazon bestseller. I think all told, the whole series, I believe, has sold well over 40 million copies or something like that. And so the book is a cheap product. Well, it's not cheap in the amount of hours that he has spent doing it, but it is certainly cheap in the amount of time that, or the amount of money that he uses. But what it's done is it's bought a decade of trust, because now when a lot of people read those books and they realize the incredible value that Alex is providing them, they believe him, which means if he offers them something, they are more likely to take it sight unseen, because he has built up that credibility with those people. So making content, number one, because of distribution, becoming the 50% co-owner of school because it's ownership, bringing in the right CEO to help them grow the business to $1 billion. Because right now it's a portfolio of companies doing 250 million. And he brought in Sharon because Sharon had built $2 billion businesses. So you bring in somebody who's better at you than doing what you want to do. Then he wrote the book, and that gave him authority. Then the next thing he did is he sold, and I think this is really interesting, that selling Gym Launch and Prestige Labs. So Gym Launch was his company, and what he did with Gym Launch was he would originally go and help gyms turn around their gym. In other words, he would help them increase their revenue, their bottom line, by, tens of thousands of dollars every single month. And originally he had a turnaround business where he would actually fly out with his sales team, and they would help fill up somebody's gym in a 3-week period, and then they would move on to the next gym. So this was very time intensive, and it took a lot of money. And then one day he just said, I can't do it anymore. And so he put together some frameworks that he was able to show them, and he went from going to actually in person help them grow their gyms to having a software that he could sell. And then from there, he went into Prestige Labs, which was a supplement company, right? And the supplement company helped him get more revenue out of all these gyms, because he would put his supplements in the gyms. And then the last thing was a software company, when he finally developed the software in order for them to do this. But what it did is it added getting headlines, and it removing makes room. So he sold 3 working businesses to protect the one thing that he could not buy back. And I thought that was very interesting. And he exited those companies for $46 billion. And then the last thing that he did was launch the $100 million money models. And it only worked. It only worked because he was able to make the other 5 work. And what money models is let me go back to Amazon here. So what money models is, let me show you. Okay. So what money models is you can see these 4 icons right there. The magnet is an attraction offer. And this is normally a very low priced offer, or it is a free offer. And in that free offer, what it does is it brings in new traffic. Then he has the arrow, the up arrow, that's an upsell offer. So they go from a free or a very low priced offer to an offer with more benefits and more bonuses. That's an upsell. And then if they don't like that upsell, they can have a downsell, which is probably a one-time purchase. And then he has the recurring model, which was the gym membership, right? So he had all four of those things. And that along with learning how to advertise were the two things that made him the most money. Those were the things that catapulted him into the stratosphere where he currently lives. So those are the 6 things that Hormozi told us in that email. Those are the 6 things right there, which was making content was number 1, which I find very interesting because that's what you want to do. You want to make content. Number 2 was becoming the largest investor in school. Number 3 was bringing in a CEO of a company that had done over $1 billion, and Alex and his team had only done 250 million. Writing the $100 million book series, which took years off the guy's life, but it has bought him so much credibility in the business world, it's unbelievable. Because these books are filled with real life examples, not just theory. Then selling Gym Launch and Prestige Labs and Allen so he could afford to make a big bet because he had $46 million in the bank. And then making the $100 money model, $100 million money model launch. So those were his 6 biggest ROI decisions that he made. Now, if you would like to make a big decision, you can, in essence, you're partnering with Alex in school because you're betting on him and the goodwill that he has made as the co-owner of school and all the great decisions that he and Sam Ovens together are making that are going to get school to a $4 to $6 billion company. And when they do that, obviously it's the whole a rising tide lifts all boats or all ships, right? So your ability to partner with a company like school that is getting a very, very strong reputation, and they're doing things like this, where they are, sorry, there, whoop, always mess that up. There, they're doing that, which is they're running advertising to help us get new community members. So if you want to check it out, you can do a 7-day kickstart inside of my group. It is free. After that, it's only $7 a month. So join, start your school community. And if you use my link to start your school community, I will even jump on a one-on-one call with you to help you set it up. So when you go in, your school community looks attractive to people and they will want to take a look at it and they will want to click on it and get started. So here's how it works with my community. As a non-member, you come on this page, you click, and then you can start a free trial. Most people are going to start at $7, but if you want my help to actually write things and create things for you, it's only $49 a month. Plus you get 4.5 to 5 hours of my time every single month for that price. So you're getting my time for about $12 an hour. So it's kind of insane on my part to offer that, but that's what I do. But you're going to get the 7-day kickstart where you're going to be able to see how this whole thing works. And like I said, when you come in and you go to the community, and if you start your school group and you start it with my link and you try it for free, you got 14 days. You just put in a group name, your credit card, and that's it. And then 14 in your first charge for actually starting your own group won't be until 14 days. So you have 14 days free to try your own group, and you have 7 days free to try the group, the cash flow path, which is ours. So that's it. That is it for today. That is it for what I had to talk to you about. So I hope that you got something out of this. I hope that if you've got any questions, you certainly drop them in the comments. I will be more than happy to answer them. But that's going to be it for tonight, guys. You have yourselves a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Welcome to the cash flow path. Discuss how to create income you own with the paid community instead of income you rent from social media platforms through brand deals, pay-per-views, and ad revenue. Creators and subject matter experts 40 and over who are able to monetize their YouTube or other channels the way they want. My style is straight talk, no hype and tech simple, no hype and tech simple.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.